Hey, good morning, Wednesday. Good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. Oh, beautiful day. Listen, we're going to jump into talking about whether or not it is more expensive to be healthy or unhealthy. That question comes up all the time. The cost of being healthy or unhealthy. And if you're listening and grab your coffee, I already drank my coffee. I'm early, so I got my water. Hey, I want to find out from you, if you drink coffee, how do you take your coffee? I'd love to know how you take your coffee in the morning. Do you take it with sugar? Don't worry, no judgments here. Sugar, milk. Do you drink coffee black? Do you put butter in your coffee? I don't honestly know who does that, but do you put other stuff in it? Do you have flavored coffee? Do you put the creamers in there? Do you put the artificial sweeteners? Do you do natural sweeteners? Do you just have plain old black coffee? I personally like coffee with a little bit of cream. I use just a little bit of half and half, like literally just, I don't even know why. I think it's more out of habit. And to be honest with you, I never drank coffee until my wife introduced me when we were dating. And it was something I just stayed away from. Coffee, we're not here to talk about whether or not that's good for you, but we are going to talk about the expense of being healthy. And is it more, I'd love to know, and first off, before you jump in, I want to know what you do for coffee in the morning. Maybe you don't have any coffee. Go ahead, put that. I don't drink coffee. Maybe you do. I'd love to know how you drink your coffee. And if you're catching this on the replay as well, let me know so that I know when you listen, so I can come back and check in on you and see how you're doing. But also, let's dive right in. So my question to you is, and feel free to just post it down in the comments below, is do you feel it's more expensive or it's less expensive to be healthy? Or in other words, do you feel it costs more to be healthy or unhealthy, right? So a lot of times I get the pushback that people tell me hey, Tracy, good morning to you. People tell me, Mark, it's expensive to be healthy. Organic foods and getting fresh vegetables and like organic meat and chicken and steak or good quality food is expensive. It's really, really expensive. But if we're just talking about food, like, again, there might be a little bit of a cost on the front end, a little more than if you were to maybe buy like some of the packaged stuff, right? That's cheaper. So we can definitely just say, yeah, okay, maybe some of the cheaper foods, the packaged foods, the artificial stuff may be cheaper. Like the $1 hamburgers at McDonald's might be cheaper than buying, a hamburger from a grocery store and making it yourself, right? So I get that. But as we're talking about the cost of healthy versus unhealthy, and let's just go through. I actually wrote down a few things that I wanted to chime in on. Good morning, Marianne, to you. Good morning as well. Listen, also, again, if you're catching this on a replay later, the first question is for you. How do you take your coffee in the morning? I want to know how you drink your coffee. I drink about 1 to 2 cups in the morning. And it's more of a tradition. I don't feel it really jacks me up or gets the body going. It's just more of a traditional thing. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. It's just something that I like and have. I get all my deep work. I have a lot of my work I get done. Content that I share with you guys is done in the early hours, and I have a little bit of coffee to do that. But let's get into the cost of being healthy or unhealthy. So let's just talk about optimal performance. And I probably just have to say one name, and that's enough to realize, oh yeah, Tom Brady. Okay, so he's won a number of Super Bowls, right? So performing optimally, the first thing I think about, is it costing you more, right? Is it costing you more to be healthy or unhealthy? That's the question I have for you, right? And I would say think about healthy. Think about what Tom Brady's been able to do. Now we can relate it to our own like normal lives, right? We can moms and dads that are busy with teenagers and not winning Super Bowls in their 40s. I think he's 42 or 43. So let's just talk about performing optimally. Like the cost of being unhealthy. The one cost, and I'm not talking financially, I'm just talking the cost. Is it costing you time with your family? Is it costing you being able to do and enjoy the active things that you might want to do, like go for a bike ride or go on a trip? Last year around this time, actually in March, this time before the pandemic, we went on a first time ever out west. We went snowboarding, and I have a post I want to share with you about that in just a little while later today. But I was thinking back to that because it was just about a year ago we were getting ready and getting prepared to go on our trip in March, like spring break time. And I'll never forget, because we not only had a good time, we were active. Like, we were on the slopes. I had not been on the slopes. I've not been snowboarding in over 20 years. 20 years. But I was able to. Not only was I able to, we crushed the mountain. Like, we hit black diamonds. It was awesome. Now, was I like as good as the locals? Of course not. But I didn't get hurt. I felt strong. I was able to do it. I wasn't beat down. I wasn't worn out. I was ready to go. In fact, I'd love to go again. We're probably not going to do that with my son having a knee injury. But in any event, now, so the cost of being healthy versus unhealthy, you can see the cost of it. It's far more costly in that sense to be unhealthy, because if you're unhealthy and you can't do the things that you want to do, you can't enjoy the time and being active with your family, or maybe go on vacations, or truly do the active fun things you want to do, that's definitely costing you more, right? Clear, good. So my next thing is it costing you more money on, like, think about, okay, we talk about food, but what about alcohol? Like, maybe, I'm not saying alcohol is necessarily like that's your bad thing, but if it's keeping you in your overweight, and it costs money, like going out to eat and you spend, $10 on a glass of wine, or maybe you go to the cheaper wine still, but you might have 6 of them, right? And it still ends up costing you the same amount. But I would say, is that, as far as spending, how much money you're spending on things that are healthy, maybe cigarette smoking, vaping, those types of things cost money. They cost you money. It's far less costly to be healthy. I think of it in this terms, like, I got water in here. This is free. Like, water, now you can spend money on water. I get it, right? You can get a filter for your water, but essentially this is far cheaper even than the soda, right? If you think about it, soda and maybe the expensive alcohol drinks that you maybe get, or you buy like $50, $100 bottles of stuff, or maybe you even get the cheaper stuff, even the cheaper wine, but it's more costly than water, right? So, okay, that's pretty straightforward. So let's go. Are you spending more on health insurance? Now, I can tell you, if you're unhealthy, you 100% are spending more money on health insurance. You absolutely are spending more money on health insurance. I believe in the research that I've done, studies have shown, I believe it's between 25 and 30. If you're obese or overweight and unhealthy, and I do, when I've gotten tested, when we get in like health insurance and all that, and we get covered through my wife's office, but I know that's not the case for everyone. But I would say is you will be spending close to 25 to 30% more on health insurance, and that's just on your monthly dues for having health insurance. Then you got to pay all your deductibles, right, and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to get into healthcare. I just wanted to jump in and share with you that it is more costly by about 25 to 30%. I know people that have actually reached out for my help. They said, Mark, my insurance is costing me this much more per month, and I need to get my weight down. I need to get on a healthier path. And in the long run, so maybe on the front end, it's only, say, $50 or $100 more a month. Well, what's that in 10 years? Do the math. Do the math. That's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's just on having the health care, not necessarily on the cost of being unhealthy and the things that can lead to. Let's get into the next one. So that actually kind of is a great transition to my next one. So again, the topic is, does it cost more to be healthy or unhealthy? Well, how much is it costing you for medication? Well, some of you are like, oh, well, I got it. My insurance covers my medication. Okay, that's great and all, right? But I know that's not the case for everyone. And I know even some insurance companies aren't going to pay for all of it. They may pay a coverage, and then you have to pay out of pocket, right? And honestly, I'm not really well versed because, to be honest with you, I'm on 0 medications. I haven't had to be on any medications, right? I take a little bit of allergy stuff in the morning or at night, and that's just over the counter, right? But besides from that, I have really 48 years. And who knows, I might at some point, right? You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. But at the end of the day, I can just tell you is I don't really know how much medications and things cost because I don't have to take any. And I know people my age, 40s and 50s, and they're on medications and it costs out of pocket. And a lot of times that's related to being unhealthy. So again, the cost of being unhealthy versus healthy we're talking about. And clearly, if you're healthier and you don't need to be on any medications, if you don't need to really, spend or meet your deductibles because you have health issues, guess what? It's more costly to be unhealthy. All right, that's pretty common sense, right? Okay. So let's go into getting sick and more injuries, having injuries. Now, there isn't pretty much a person that has been on a call with me to inquire about working with me in coaching the question comes up. like as far as like sick and injuries, we talk about those things, and there really pretty much isn't anybody that has reached out and told me that they haven't had some sort of, in their 40s and 50s, right, some sort of aches and pains or injuries or some sort of limitation. And a lot of times that ended up costing out of pocket. A lot of times it's exacerbated by not being healthy. So a couple of things that happen when you're unhealthy is you get sick. So if you're working, that could be very costly for you if your job is saying, hey, you got this many sick days. Okay, if it's like serious sickness, maybe you have a great company that you work for that will give you medical leave. But I know a lot of them will, if you worked for me, say you worked for me and as you were an assistant or something, health and coaching, and you couldn't do your job well because you're sick, I probably wouldn't keep you on. I mean, that's the reality of that. So if you're sick, and same thing with injuries, if you're injured, so if you have injuries related to maybe being unhealthy, now I know that injuries don't always come from that, but a lot of times injuries, maybe like sickness, if you're unhealthy and you have sickness, it's going to make it hard for you to perform really, really well in work, or actually even require time off, right? Like, here's the crazy thing, crazy. It's actually not so crazy. It's actually pretty in your face. And maybe this is a hard thing. Like, my wife has been, and I've known her now Nicole, if you may not know my wife yet, if you're new to watching me, but I would say she's been in nursing for over 25 years, about as long. She started as an RN and went back to school for ARNP. So she's an advanced, well, I think it's called ANPR, or Advanced Nurse Practitioner Registered. I don't know how it works now. They changed the names around, but it's an ARNP, nurse practitioner. And she's been doing that for over 20 years, or 25 years. Now, I've known her when she was in school, finishing up school. So for almost 20 years that we've been together, I can tell you want to know how many days she was out sick? Now, for like certain things, like my son's surgery the other day, last week, she took a day off. But do you want to know how many times she was out sick? 20 years, 20, not 20 days or 20 months, 20 years. She's a good employee. She does well and makes good money. And the place, like the hospital she works for, really likes having her. Guess why? She's not sick. You know how many times she's been sick in 20 years? Out sick. Except for like when she had babies and like when there was a kid injured or something. Like, we had a few of those. Do you know how many times she was sick? Zero times. I can tell you too, in the times that I've been working for myself for 20 years, well, probably 16 years. I had first started. But anyway, do you know how many times I was out sick for work and actually was not able to work? Zero. I'm not talking like, oh, there was a week here and there was a month here where I was sick and because I was unhealthy and that. And again, this is not for you to brag. It's just to let you know the value. The expense of being unhealthy is where you're out sick all the time, or you can't do your job to your best of your ability. You maybe can't even climb up that ladder that you want to on the next level because you are exhausted all the time, and you're calling in sick, right? You're not performing well. So does that make sense? I hope it does. So the next thing is, are you being taken as seriously? Here's the thing. Here's the hard truth, and this might be a hard truth. And I was going to share this. I might share it in another post, but I was thinking I was going to make this one, does it pay to be good looking? Does it pay to be good looking? That's what I was going to name it. And I might do another post later, but I actually saw an article the other day, and this does relate to as far as people taking you seriously. And does it mean you have to be like a supermodel? No, but I want this extreme level to give you the idea that this matters, being your best and actually performing and having that kind of confidence that comes with being healthy. There isn't anybody that I know, there's nobody that I've met that has improved their health, got on a healthier path, felt better about themselves, looked better about themselves, felt better in clothes, were able to be confident in themselves, right? Not feeling like, oh, I'm overweight and I'm out of shape and woe is me and playing the victim card. There was not anybody that I've met that have said, man, you know what? Like, because I'm really healthy and I'm in good shape, that because I'm feeling so good about myself that I wasn't able to get to that next level. And let me just share this with you. It pays to be good looking. There was a guy, I think his name is Meeks. I think his name, I wrote it down, Jeremy Meeks. You can go look him up. So Jeremy Meeks, I don't know who this guy is, right? I don't pay attention. He's just some bald guy and he has like these blue eyes, some bald guy with like blue eyes. And he got famous overnight. So he literally was in prison. And I think like a lot of times, like here, even locally in our police department, they actually post when they like when they capture people for whatever they've done, right? If it's drug dealing or this or that, or maybe it's a suspect in a crime or whatever, and they post to see if they get some help in the community, right? It's just what happens nowadays. I think thanks to America's Most Wanted, that kind of trickle down effect into the local level. But anyway, I'm getting off track here and I'm digressing. So let's go into. So here's a guy who literally was in jail, literally went to prison. He was like a gangster, gangbanger kind of guy. And I'm not even joking. It was literally overnight. And they posted his picture, his mugshot. Now, it was only like from kind of here up, like a regular mugshot, like here where they're just looking. And the next day, or was in the next 2 days, he went viral. And it became an overnight sensation just because of the way he looked. Now, I'm not saying that maybe you have like the best looking face or what have you. I clearly don't, right? But I would just say is one of the things, it pays to be good look. That turned into him having all of these opportunities, all of these job opportunities, all of like these modeling opportunities. He was on runway models, became probably multimillionaire. Now maybe he started in the jail and then got out. But he was in movies, and you could look it up. Go look up the story of Jason Motes, is that his name? Go look up the story, or no, Jeremy Motes, go look up that. And then say it does pay. So why do I say that as far as when it comes to being taken seriously? Like, hey, if you're in a medical field or if you're in any kind of like, it comes to the example for me. It's one of the things I think about would you take me seriously if I wasn't in pretty good shape as a coach? Of course not. Now, I'm in my late 40s. I'm not expecting you to think that I have a 20-year-old body. I don't. But I definitely have a pretty good and in shape body, and I actually practice what I preach. And you're going to probably take me seriously because I do, right? If you're in your job, now this could be any job. It could be a finance job. It could be a healthcare job. It could be a teaching job. And the reality is if you're taking better care of yourself and your health and taking care of your body, it doesn't have to be like a supermodel body. No. But if you're actually in decent shape, taking care of yourself, not kind of like looking sloppy and out of shape, and you're going to feel that, right? If you already don't feel comfortable in your own skin, do you think other people are going to maybe even feel? Now, I'm not saying you should worry about what other people think, but at the end of the day is, again, are people going to take you more seriously when you take yourself and your health more seriously? 100%. 100%. This may be hard to hear, but that's 100%. And then here's the last thing. This might be a slap in the face because a lot of times I get on a call with people and they talk about like the cost, because I am a cost. Like there is a cost. There is an investment that needs to be made when you work with a coach like me. That's 25 years experience. If I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years, why would I expect to just give some of this stuff? Well, I do give a lot away for free, but to give my coaching free, this is my livelihood. This is how I make a living. But I will say is one of the things that might be hard to hear is the cost of being unhealthy versus healthy. The long-term effects. Let's just talk about living longer or dying sooner. Like, do you think being unhealthy is going to cause you to live longer? No. Like, that might be a gut check right there. So I always think, and we don't think so much of the long term. We think of right now what's in front of us. Kind of like that car, right? Like you get that new car, you buy that new car, and you're not worried about the $200-300 a month payment. But then here it comes, like, you're making those payments for 4, 5, 6 years, right? And the cost over time is maybe be expensive, right? Think about that. Or not so costly when you think of it if you had to just pay for it all up front. So my point is sooner or later you're going to have to invest, and you're either investing. It's not like, oh, no, I can't invest. If you're not investing in yourself and your health, and that doesn't mean you have to hire a coach, but if you're not investing in yourself and your health, you're investing in your unhealthy. Like you are investing, right? Like you are investing. Just realize it's not like you're not investing in your health. If you're not investing in yourself and your health, you're investing in being unhealthy. And that could be sitting on the couch, feeling sorry for yourself, going out and wallowing in self-pity and eating and letting food be the God in your life, or maybe being lazy or just giving up on yourself. You deserve better. You deserve not to give up on yourself. I hope you never give up on yourself. But I can tell you there is a cost to being unhealthy, and it's far less. Hopefully this helps you realize it is far less expensive. There's far less of a cost for you to be healthy than there is for unhealthy. And I challenge you, prove me wrong. Go ahead and put it in the comments. If you think that I'm way off course here in what I'm saying, I'd love to have a discussion with you. I'd challenge you to prove me wrong. Like, there may be one or two outliers, like my grandfather, who I would say he's not even an outlier, but he ate whatever he wanted, fried food, and, he cooked stuff, but he also lived on the farm, and he was active, and he moved, and he even was gardening until he's in his 80s when he passed away. And I can say he lived a full life. He still, like, you're like, oh no, he didn't exercise, he didn't have a coach. No, but he actually lived a healthy lifestyle. Even if he fried up chicken livers on the cast iron skillet every other day and put peanut butter on everything he ate. But reality is, does it cost more to answer this question? Does it cost more to be healthy or unhealthy? It costs 1,000% more, 100,000% more to be unhealthy. Hope this helped. Take care. God bless. Talk soon.